welcome back to another It's Bring Your Project Zomboid tier list. Today we're finally doing the negative traits that everyone has requested. It's been the people are asking for it, the people want it, and you're gonna get it. We're gonna be talking about how negative traits affect your gameplay, which negative traits are good, which are bad. This is not just for speedrunners. I'm going to give you some general information about negative traits as well. Let's just get back in there now. I really appreciate all the support on the first one. It's really fun doing these tier list videos. These ones I actually feel like I know a little bit better, so I probably can just do this all in one cut. I doubt I'm going to need to do too much editing on this. So let's start with this. This is agoraphobic. We're going to confirm that, chat. I believe that is agoraphobic. Yes, that is agoraphobic. Now, I'm not sure where we should put the negative traits like agoraphobic and claustrophobic. They have benefits, but really, there's only one reason you use them in a speed. Number one is you use them because it stops your character from getting bored. And if your character can't get bored, then they don't get depressed, which means their actions don't slow down. So basically, like if you were doing a tailoring speedrun, right, and you are depressed, well, that means your actions are all going to be slower than they should. Even your sewing, your ripping clothing is all slower. Now, the one thing that never does slow down, though, is reading. I don't know why. I tested this. Reading speed is always the same. You can be exhausted. You can be miserably depressed. They don't care. You read at the exact same speed. It's just coded into the game, and nothing seems to change. So I put these in C tier, not because of that, actually, because obviously that's a great benefit to a character. Now, there is the problem with sleeping, but honestly, there's a lot of rooms in Zomboid, even in houses, that are big enough that you can sleep in them, or you can do the trick where you just speed up time for a while, and eventually you'll lose that panic just because of how it works when you speed up time, and then you can quickly sleep or the panic comes back. Or do the old school trick of just drinking a tiny bit of alcohol or sleeping pills, right? Or beta blockers. There's a lot of ways to deal with sleep, but that doesn't really matter. What's interesting though is if you take these, you cannot take adrenaline junkie, which is actually a very nice trait because of one reason. It makes you move faster, which in a speedrun obviously is incredibly important. But even for normal gameplay, Adrenaline Junkie is kind of a nice ability. It lets you move around Zeds better. It lets you maneuver around hordes a lot better, which is a great thing, right? Enough about that. I'm done. These are very niche uses and aren't going to really be super important for any gameplay, especially multiplayer. Because multiplayer, a lot of your panic is based on how long the server's been on, as I mentioned in the positive traits. So as the server goes on, these become more and more free trait points. All thumbs, honestly, like F tier for sure. The number one thing I don't like to see is my character grabbing and equipping items incredibly slowly. I don't like wasting my own IRL time, and in a speedrun, of course, this is terrible. Like, a lot of looting in Zomboid on speedruns is you're looting while zombies are chasing you, right? Like, they're coming after you, and they're right behind you, and you have to grab that item before they get to you. All thumbs can just ruin your life, right? It can just ruin your day. Clumsy, that's a tough one. As actual trait points, for what it's worth, right? It's like 2 points, I believe. Is it 2 points? Let's check that out. Yes, 2 points, right? As an actual trait point, it's not that bad, right? 2 points, all you're doing is making a little bit more noise. What bothers me about this, though, is the problem with ripping, because you got to remember that Zomboid speedruns already have a lot of RNG. A lot of RNG, trust me. So when you're trying to do this, if you're tripping constantly and getting injuries, you're just having to reset. So I don't like Clumsy anymore because I feel like it's just making my runs too RNG heavy, on top of them already being RNG heavy, right? The more noise while moving, meh, stealth's not even that good anyways, which, moving on to like stealth being terrible, we have the most S tier trait ever created, conspicuous. I have talked many times on my stream about why conspicuous. Also, hey, go watch my stream on Twitch all the time. Links in my YouTube and in the channel description. Conspicuous is a very free trait. Because how stealth works in Zomboid is code that checks if a Zomboid detects you is ran about 100 times a second. Thanks to Redinaru for this. You can watch his video in the description about stealth. Yeah, it detects you about 100 times a second, which means even at max sneaking in light-footed, you're gonna get spotted by a zombie. But honestly, it's kind of realistic if you think about it. Like, if you're walking directly in front of someone, it doesn't matter how good you are at stealth. They're gonna see you most likely, right? So I think it's kind of just a free trait points. Just take it. Don't even think about it. Outwardly, tough one. I don't like getting a ton of panic, right? I put this as B because panic honestly is a really nasty way to play your game. Because the issue is that you're going to do such little melee damage. And while a lot of speedruns don't need to fight zombies, there is a good chance you're going to fight at least 5 or 6, even in the most well-done speedrun. Just because just a zombie game, you got to deal with zombies sometimes, all right? Panic is going to really mess with that a lot. Death. Now, as you know, in Project Zomboid speedruns, we speed up time all the time, right? Constantly speed up time. And the way we can do this is that when your character does not detect zombies, you're able to walk to fast forward. It's called FF speed. And it's about twice as fast. It's quite fast. But if your character detects a zombie in their radius, they will slow down immediately. Now, this does not work exactly how you think. When you get deaf, number one, you do lose hearing, yes. But the radius that you can see behind you and in your peripheral actually gets smaller. But there's something interesting about how Zomboid code works, where that the radius actually bigger for hard of hearing. Don't ask me why, but hard of hearing has a lower perception area than deaf. Very interesting, right? And it doesn't have the downsides of not being able to hear things like alarms, which is important. So keeping that in mind, right? Oh, that's fine. Deaf is a fine one. If you need the extra points and you're not as concerned about the like really optimizing the FF speed, take deaf, you'll be fine. Art of hearing is the best though. I think actually for speedruns, besides a couple, art of hearing is the best trait you can take in the entire game for Project Zomboid speedrun, because the number one way we save time is by speeding up, right? Now, this has one problem. Foraging speedruns, which if you're hard of hearing, you have a much lower vision radius in foraging, which is a very odd thing, but it's how it is. So you don't want this for foraging speedruns. It's the only ones that uses keen hearing. But also, Last Accumulator, the COD Zombies version in Zomboid, we actually take keen hearing a lot because it's such a dark area that really the FF speed means nothing because we're not really moving, right? So keen hearing actually helps us with our reaction time so that we can just react to zombies faster and lose less runs from mistakes. Because when you're speeding up time to do like fast reloads and shotguns, it's very easy to get a bite in the neck, right? Disorganized. I love disorganized. So for speedrun, great ability. Single player, great ability because of one reason. Disorganized does not affect your character's primary inventory. So like your character's main inventory where most of your stuff is saved, it does not affect that whatsoever. It only affects containers, which is the key thing, right? Here's a problem though. This trait, if you take this trait on multiplayer, you have basically become the biggest troll in the world because if you take this trait and your friends don't take anything, or they even take organized, your friend's inventory capacity is much higher than yours. So you're going to remove an item from a chest, and you'll never be able to put it back in the chest. So then you're going to be dropping stuff all over the ground. Other people are going to have to add things to containers for you. If it's multiplayer, always take organized, never even touch disorganized. Some Zomboid speedruns might argue disorganized is not that good. I think it's free traits because storage is almost never a problem. I do think electrical, I think electrical uses storage. So maybe for electrical, you'd have to think about this one. And now we get into the weak, and basically they're actually both called weak. Look at this. Oh, that's really weird. They're both called weak. I don't know why they're both called weak. It's very strange, right? This is very strange, but they're both called weak, and I do not know why. Let me adjust them so you can actually see this, right? I want you to actually be able to see this. We have weak plus 10, so obviously this is terrible. And then we have weak plus 6. No idea why they're both called weak. So this is like the lesser weak one, right? This is the one where it's like, oh, it's only 6 points. It's not that bad, right? It's not the worst thing in the world. This is the lesser one. I don't think almost any speedruns that I know of take, and that's because killing zombies is literally one of the most time consuming, but actually not just for that reason. So I would call these C tier and F tier. The only time I would consider taking these is bleach speedruns, just because it might, we're not sure about this. This has not been proven. It might help you actually die faster if you are weak and like unfit. So I'm going to put them both in C and F, and I'm going to say, but not for those reasons. Not for the strength and the fighting reasons, right? Because many speedruns have 0. It's actually because if you didn't know this, every 0.1 endurance that your character has, or not endurance, encumbrance that your character has, does slow your character down. Every 0.1. So it's not just when you're overweight or when your endurance goes down. No. Every 0.1 encumbrance, I've read this in the code, reduces your character's speed and their fitness regeneration, like their endurance. In a speedrun where everything needs to be as fast as possible, losing that 4 carrying capacity is horrible. It's terrible. Because then our ratio is getting messed up, right? So instead of carrying 0.1 out of 20, which that's not that bad, now we're carrying 0.1 out of 10. That probability or that percentage Slowdown scales with our max strength. And actually, in a lot of speedruns now, we actually have to carry TVs with us, which are very heavy. So losing this strength is almost completely unacceptable. Like, imagine tailoring. You're carrying around 5 books and a bunch of cloth and thread and all this stuff. In a weapon, nah, you can never take these. You can never take, except they do take them in Bleach. And I believe some Ecstasy of Gold speedruns take this as well. Because they don't really, you can't really fight Ecstasy of Gold. It's too fast of a run, right? Hearty Appetite, I love it. I love Hearty Appetite. There's only a couple scenarios in which I do not take Hearty Appetite. Mechanics and metalworking. Those speedruns involve you spending a lot of time in the middle of nowhere with no food. And it's very easy to starve to death. I sometimes take this for fishing, but I kind of go 50-50 on it because I don't like wasting any time. And you'd be surprised, actually, how quickly you do starve to death. Especially because, remember, some weird things going on with how we fast forward with all this speeding up. Like, when we're playing the entire game at, like, 5x speed, it really changes some code where we actually are dying from starvation much, much faster than we should be. So there is some weirdness going on here. So I tend to always take this, but it's definitely something that I could probably call A tier because it is going to make you have to maybe eat and really think about how you play the game because you're going to have to be very careful about your hunger. And single player, this is a fantastic because it's just so easy to counteract this, right? If you start gaining weight, eat vegetables. If you are losing weight, well, you have hearty appetite. You can eat constantly, right? Big stuff. For single player, actually, I want to go back because I forgot I didn't talk about weak for single player. I think for single player, this is terrible. And multiplayer, honestly, I think it's still a C and F tier. It's just not worth the points. Your character is going to be so weak and so just unable to defend themselves that these are just not good traits. There's so many better traits that you really don't need to take these. You really don't. Don't do this to yourself. Like, just the best way to survive in Zomboid is to be good at killing zombies, right? It's not that you could say like, oh, it's very easy to gain weight. It's very easy to lose weight. But truthfully, you're just going to end up spending all your time exercising or losing weight just to die because you were too weak to fight zombies, right? And you're going to waste all your IRL time just fucking watching your character exercise. That's not fun for anyone. Now, Fear of Blood, gotta say S tier for speedruns and for normal runs. Fear of Blood is one of the most easily dealt with negative traits in the game. Number one is all it does is make you anxious. Now, anxiousness does reduce your melee damage, and it actually can reduce your vision radius, I believe, but not in a way that is good. It's more of a bad way. It's not going to help with your FF running, but it's just, go take a bath, bro. Take a shower, bro. Like, that's it. Take a shower, bro. And speedruns, we don't live long enough for this to matter, right? But seriously, single player, actually multiplayer, I would argue maybe Fear of Blood is really bad because you can't speed up time. So actually washing all your clothes and taking a shower in multiplayer is a huge waste of your IRL time. Now, if you are safe, then I would recommend you simply just, go AFK. Just go take a shower, then you go take your own ass into the shower. And then by the time you're done showering, your character will probably be done showering. In single player, free points. Easy free points, right? Like no question whatsoever on that from me because it's just too free. High thirst. I'm gonna actually put this in. It's a lot of points, so it has to go in A tier. But I think this is a really overrated. I used to be a big high thirst fan. Recently, I used to really be big on high thirst, and I'd be like, you know what? This is like the most free, or almost the most free trade, right? Lately, I've been like, it is actually a huge annoyance to always have to worry about water because once you start getting dehydrated, your combat abilities go down, your strength goes down, which means your speed goes down. Everything is just snowballing in to this terrible situation just because you didn't have an extra bottle of water. That's it. Like, it's bad. No, it is a lot of points. Yes, it's a lot of points. It's true. So yes, everyone says just carry around a second water bottle. That's true. But that's extra weight, which is then slowing you down, which is slowing down your endurance and recovery and making you lose endurance faster. And again, we're spiraling into dying. The number one way you will die in Zomboid is because you get the sleepies. And then you're done and it's over. You can't run from zombies. You can't fight zombies. Low thirst. Most speedruns take it. Almost all of us take it because it is worth the points. But it's one of those that I'm not going to say free. Like, if you go to S tier and you choose any of these for single player and not multiplayer, but single player and speedruns, these will never set you wrong. You will be having a great game. These, though, these have potential to get you killed. This one, meh. These are all terrible. They're gonna make your life miserable. You choose these for a challenge, right? You choose this if you want to waste your time. Now, this is prone to illness. This is one of the most free traits I have ever seen in this game. Okay, number one is it increases the speed of zombification. You're still going to be a zombie. If you are going to be a zombie, you are still a zombie. It does not up the chances that you become a zombie. It just makes it faster. And it makes you get sick easier. Just don't get sick. Don't get sick. Good game. Easy game's easy. It's literally that simple. And this is not like saying like, oh, thin just don't get hit, right? No, no, no. You can just make mistakes, right? It's very difficult to get sick in Zomboid. It's very difficult. Even if I go stand in the rain for 3 days, I might still not get sick, right? So you can very easily just play with this. Multiplayer, single player, speed running, but prone to illness on every single build and never think about it again. Illiterate. Now, this is such interesting ability. B tier, not A tier. I would love to put it in A tier because honestly, in multiplayer, I almost always take illiterate because I really kind of refuse to read books in multiplayer. I just think it's a massive waste of time because I'm not going to spend 5 minutes of my IRL life reading a book in Project Zomboid. Like, no. If I can't speed up time to read, I don't read. Speed running, if it's not a skill speed run, you can just take illiterate and never think about it, right? So if you're doing non-skill speedruns, this automatically becomes S tier because you don't read. If you are in multiplayer and you want to actually do skills, well, then this becomes F tier, right? I put it in B because this is one of those traits that has amazing uses, but then for some things, it's literally the worst trait you could possibly take. Like, if you're doing a skilling speedrun, this is by far the worst trait you could ever take in your entire life. If you're doing 100 Zs, you're doing last wave accumulator, illiterate's free points. If you're in multiplayer and other people are doing skilling, take illiterate. Free points, bro. Like, think about farming. You could max farming without the books, bro. If farming is just such an easy skill to level. So you can still be the farmer for your crew. You can still be the cook. It doesn't say you can't do these skills. You just can't read the books, right? But cooking going higher does very little. Let's be honest here. Food is not that important. Maybe able to cook, sure, it's fun. But you can still do everything. You can still watch TV, right? You still have Life and Living, you still have VHS, you still have a lot of things. So there is a place for illiterate. And also, it's really funny to imagine. You're just like, literally, like, you've never read a book in your life. You're a zombie killing machine. Honestly, I've always thought it's just fucking hilarious. So I take illiterate constantly. All right, let's talk about overweight and like basically the obese. Like this is like the worst one, and this is like the slightly not worst. I need to double check that real quick. Very high weight and high weight. Okay, so yeah, okay, so this is the worst one. Very high weight. This trait, it is got to be one of the worst in the game. Now I'm gonna read it off to you. It is plus 10. That's a lot. Minus 2 fitness. You run speed is slower. Starting weight is 105. 120% chance to trip. Everything is worse. Your endurance goes down. Your running speed, your fitness, everything. It's like a spiral, honestly. You use more endurance and you gain less endurance. This is a recipe to die. Also, to get rid of this, you need to lose 45 kilograms. You know how you can probably lose maybe 1 a day. 45 days of Zomboid to get to a normal weight. Is 10 points worth that? I don't think so. I really don't think so. In 45 days, you could probably max all of your skills without the skill books and just get the same amount of points for illiterate. Just be deaf, bro. Just be deaf. Overweight, not as bad. I would put it right up here. You can basically see that, like, these are just slightly not as game-changing, game-killing as the bottom ones, right? That's it. We just go up 1 tier, right? And I don't really have anything special to say. This is just slightly not as bad. And then we get into these 3 icons that are basically exactly the same. This is terrible endurance, slightly less terrible endurance, and slightly less terrible endurance. I'm going to very quickly go F tier, C tier, and literally the highest of C tier, because I'm not putting any of these in C tier. So basically we have asthmatic, short of breath, and out of breath, right? I'm going to basically summarize this as easily as I can. There's a reason C and F tier are all about strength and fitness, because strength and fitness are by far the hardest to level up. Literally, I did the math once, and like, I'm not sure how long it would take to level fitness, but it's going to be like a good 10 or 15 hours of straight exercising at max speed. So if you're in multiplayer, what are you doing to yourself? If you are in multiplayer and you level up fitness or strength, I want you to just go outside and I want you just to look at the grass and and I want you to touch it. And I just want you to know that you've done something wrong with your life, and that you need to reevaluate what you're doing with your life. Really take a good, deep, hard look at yourself in the mirror if you ever level strength or fitness in multiplayer. Single player, you can make an argument, right? You can make an argument. You can speed up time. You can speed up time. Speed runs. We take it in bleach percent to die faster. And I don't even think it makes you die faster. There's not a single speed run where I would say these are acceptable. Zomboid is a game that rewards one thing: strength and speed. Nothing else is rewarded in Zomboid. Being smart doesn't matter. I don't need to be smart. I am fast and I am strong. I don't need to be smart. Carpentry, not gonna help me when there's 100 Zeds banging on my door. Those barricades ain't gonna hold. If you are strong and you are fast in Zomboid, you can do whatever else you want, right? That's the only thing that matters. That's the only thing you should be caring about in single player, speedruns, and multiplayer. Strong, fast. Pacifist, I love it, because Pacifist is such a cool little skill. If you actually read it, it doesn't reduce your damage with weapons. It reduces your XP. Super interesting. It doesn't affect guns. So if you're doing a gun speed run or a gun single player run, guess what? You get free points. But also, if you don't need to level up your weapon skill, I mean, you can still fight. It's not reducing your damage. You're just going to get 25% less XP. Not that big of a deal. You're still going to be one-shotting people with an axe if you have max strength, even with Pacifist. Multiplayer, great, because a lot of multiplayer servers actually speed up your XP for skills. So even better. Single player, why not? Dude, get a gun, bro. Get a gun. You're done. You're chilling, right? I mean, he has enough shotgun ammo in the prison and the police station in Rosewood to literally clear out the entire city, and a good bit of mole draw as well, right? So easy grab, okay? Easy grab. Speedruns, we love Pacifist. And it's almost every single skill run takes Pacifist. Every single one. Restless Sleeper, I'm gonna say B, for a couple of reasons. Number one, it's multiplayer. You don't need to sleep. So a lot of multiplayer servers don't even let you take this trait because it's obviously free. Single player, this is a very annoying trait because basically this just limits the number of hours in the day of Zomboid that you can do things, right? And it creates what we call the feedback loop of basically death. You start with like really overweight and really weak. You have low carrying capacity, so that reduces your endurance and your endurance regeneration. And then you have restless sleeper, so you're getting tired easier. And once you're tired or drowsy, you can no longer recover your endurance. So you caught in this feedback loop where you're never actually recovering your endurance because you're never losing all of your tiredness in one sleep period. So you never have time to get your endurance back. Just a feedback loop that just kills you and it ruins you, all right? I put it in B tier though, because what if you don't need to sleep? If a multiplayer server makes the mistake of leaving this trait on, then guess what? 3 points. And in speedruns, there's only like 2 that need sleep: fishing, tailoring, trapping, and electrical. Sorry, 4. But that's 4 out of like a lot of speedruns. There's a lot of Zomboid speedruns. There's only 4 that actually need to sleep. So this is actually 3 points for the vast majority of runs. And even tailoring, I would argue that tailoring, you could probably get away with using this, especially if you had sleeping pills or alcohol, which is very easy to get because you actually go into a pharmacy to do the tailoring speedrun, right? Short-sighted, I love it. I love it. I love it. S tier, except for one speedrun. S tier in single player, wear glasses, bro. Also, it doesn't really do that much. It doesn't really do anything. It really does almost nothing. It only affects foraging. Like that's the only speedrun, right? Is foraging, because it does reduce your radius, which is quite bad for foraging speedruns. So moving on from that. Multiplayer, get glasses, bro. It's not that hard to get glasses. They everywhere. Pop a pair on, you're good. Good game, easy game's easy, right? And even if you don't have glasses, it doesn't do anything. Build 42, though, it is very different. So remember, these are all for build 41. Build 42 changes everything. So short-sighted build 42, not very good. Even when you have glasses, like you're still gonna have some problems, right? Now let's talk about this. Sleepyhead. I'm putting it slightly higher than Restless Sleeper because all this means is you need to sleep more often, but your sleep quality is actually not affected, which means you never get caught in that loop of not ever getting enough sleep. So actually, I don't think this one's bad. Even for Zomboid speedruns that involve sleep, it's like, we kind of don't really care if we're drowsy or tired, right? Like we're usually speeding up time to get sleepy anyways, because once we get like a little drowsy, but we can't sleep, we need to get really tired so we can sleep all the way through to the next day, right? Because we don't want to fight at night, right? So this actually is pretty much free points. But I still don't like it because I hate anything that makes you tired. Single player, honestly, not a big deal. Like single player, you might even be able to go, we might even go low A tier on this. It just, sleeping longer isn't really a big deal because mostly because your character naturally is actually going to wake up a little too early, right? A lot of people don't like going out at night. So how many times in Zomboid single player have you kind of just sat in a room for like an hour until it's daytime because you're scared to go out at night? A lot of people, because it's very dangerous to go out at night. It's a very good way to catch a bite and get killed. Interesting, right? You got to think about this stuff. You got to think about this stuff. I actually like this in A tier. Slow healer, goated, and remarkably goated. This is actually a bugged trait. Doesn't actually cause you to heal slower. It increases the severity of your injury. A fracture could become a broken bone, right? But it doesn't really actually slow down healing. And even then, if you're injured, number one is try not to be injured, right? Number two is if you're injured in a speed run, who cares if you heal? You don't need to heal. Multiplayer, you have people around you that can fight for you. You can just spend a couple days in game focusing on other things, right? And that will help you a lot. You just focus on other things. In single player, this is nothing. Just go sit in a house, read your skill books for 2 days until you heal, right? This is free points. I think everyone knows this. Slow learner. Gonna have to go F on this one, chat. Nah. We don't do slow learner. We do not do slow learner. 25% across the board. XP drop. Massive. Absolutely crazy to take. Unhinged to take this. Because also you gotta remember that skills scale with books and with other, like they scale with other profession bonuses and stuff. Like, let's think about this. Like if you take electrical, right? Take electrician. You get 125% XP, 100%, 150% XP boost, right? Well, that scales with that 25%. And then the times 16 from your book scales with that 25%. It's basically, this is just a feedback loop here of extra XP. So I would say this slow learner is never worth it, ever. Because also, if you go fast learner with Pacifist, it actually works out really well because you're not actually losing that much of your weapon XP. Slow reader. I can't imagine a scenario in which I would ever take... I'm actually going to think here. Let me think here for a second. Is there a moment when you would want to be able to read, but you're okay with reading slowly? Maybe some single player runs, right? Like maybe you could do this in some single player. I don't know. Because why would you just want your reading to ever be slower? Like that doesn't make sense to me. Why would you ever waste your time in your real life reading slowly when you can just read fast? And it's not even that many points. It's like 2 points. It's not worth it. And if it's like, oh, if you're like, oh, I don't really care about reading, then why not be illiterate? Like every time you can justify slow reader, I can just justify like, number one, you're wasting your time, or number two, why not just take illiterate, right? There's no place for this in the game. I think these 6, there's almost zero place in the game for them because all they do is make the game anti-fun, less fun for you, less fun for me, less fun for everyone, even the people you're playing with, and it just wastes your time. It's just artificially wasting your time in a game, which is one of my least favorite things that game. Smoker, we stand smoker. We all stand smoker. Now, build 42 is different. Build 41, this is the GOAT. This is literally the GOAT trait. We're going to reorganize these, by the way, actually. Smoker is the GOAT trait. Conspicuous, clumsy. I'm gonna put short-sighted up here. Put slow healer up here as well. And I'm gonna put pacifist at the end because it is probably the lowest of the S tiers. Smoker. Amazing trait. We love smoker here, right? Now let's talk about this. Sunday driver. Single player. This is a death sentence. Multiplayer. This is a death sentence. This does not mean, oh, I drive slow. It also means you can't pull things. You can't back up as well. You can't push zombies out of the way as well. You can't push through hordes at all. They will stop your car and they will kill you. You cannot drive off-road. You will get stuck on the smallest bit of grass. This is death. I only put it in C at the bottom because there are some speed runs where we do not use cars, which means I'm actually going to put it top of C tier. Because in multiplayer, technically, you could have other people drive for you. And that some people do that to get those extra, a little bit of extra optimization, right? Because everyone likes to have a team and they specialize. Okay, you can be the driver, right? 2, single player, if you really don't want to drive a car or you're really bad at driving, don't take Sunday driver. Just don't take speed demon, right? Keep it in the middle. Keep it in the middle. No up and down, right? And you're going to have a fine time. You'll learn how to drive. My advice, though, is get fast learner and just or speed demon and just learn how to drive. It's not that hard. Take your time, practice, get a feel. Remember that every car is different and different parts can make the car control differently. Once you're a little bit better and you know your car well, you'll find that driving is much easier than you actually think. But you really need to pay attention to the quality of the items. If your suspension is low in Zomboid, you can feel it in your car. If your tires are bad condition, feel it on how your car controls. Sunday driver, pretty bad. Basically, you're asking to die at some point. Every time I've ever seen someone like, stream this game or play this game with Sunday driver, I have seen Sunday driver get them killed. So take that as you may. I am going to put this not in S tier. I put thick skin in, I believe, F tier because I said just don't get hurt. But thin skinned is a little opposite. I don't believe the gain from thick skinned is worth the points. But I could argue that maybe the negative points we get, like the trait points we get, the spin off thin skin, they're not necessarily worth the call. Actually, I believe LA speedruns, because we don't need a lot of traits in LA, right? We really don't need a lot of traits because it's only killing zombies. So a lot of us actually do not take thin skinned. We actually take thick skin. Just in case we do get scratched or bit, we might actually not break the skin. And I like it if I can trip and not get injured. That can be quite nice sometimes, right? So I would say there's a little bit of an argument for thin skin not being S tier and being more A tier. We can go ahead and organize these before we get to the last ones, because the last ones are honestly going to be pretty straightforward. So let's kind of go through these a little bit here. I want to make sure all these are correct. I would say this, I think it goes about like that. This one looks fine. This, I think, is actually pretty good. These are just the worst. I think they just all go in the back. I think weak is actually easier to deal with than any of the fitness ones. This I agree with. I actually really think this is one of the worst in the game. I really think this is one of the worst in the game. Okay, there we go. So we have emaciated, underweight, and overweight. Let's talk emaciated. This is like one of the worst. You can't even get this as a negative trait. It's barely even worth talking about because you're not getting points for this. This is when you're 50 kilograms or under. You are dying. You are literally dying. This is death. In a couple of days, you will be dead. Your strength and fitness is to the point where you are basically not functioning as a character anymore. I will check how bad it is, but it's bad. Yeah, but it's 40% melee damage, 75% chance to fell a tree, 30% or climb a tall fence, 30% endurance loss. Like, this is bad. Don't get emaciated. Underweight, overweight. I would say both of these kind of go together, and they're going in B tier because they're just slightly better versions than their counterparts down here, right? They are basically doing the same thing. You're losing strength and you're losing fitness, and it's just going different in both directions. You could argue that gaining weight is easier than losing weight, and I agree 100% on that. So I would say this actually can go higher on B tier because in Zomboid, calories are very simple. You have to do things to burn calories. You do burn extra calories by doing things, but underweight, you can actually be hungry and still be gaining weight, because Zomboid only counts 3,000 calories a day. So you eat a single stick of butter and you starve the rest of the day, and you will still be gaining the most amount of weight. So it's actually very easy to find 3,000 calories worth of food, right? You go and grab a carton of milk, 2 cartons of milk, or 2 bottles of bourbon, and boom, you're gaining weight. And that's the secret, the liquid calories, right? But it's actually much harder because if you're overweight and you're trying to lose weight, well, then you're going to be hungry, right? By nature, you must be at a calorie deficit. So you're going to be hungry, which means your strength is going to be lower. Your endurance recovery will be lower, and that's bad. You're fighting worse. Now, again, I've told you the secret winning in Project Zomboid is being fast and being strong. It's not, if you're slow and weak, you're cooked, bro. You're cooked. Don't be slow. Don't be weak. I like underweight because then you can just gain the weight over maybe like not even that many days. Like, let me think, how long would it take to gain? Like 10 days? Not that bad. By the time the helicopter comes, you should not even be underweight anymore. Unlucky. Bro, I don't even know what this does. Like, legitimately, I don't know what this does. Everything I read online about lucky and unlucky makes no fucking sense, bro. I don't know what this does. Like, just get over that. Get out of here. Weak stomach. Goated. Absolutely goated trait. Even more goated than like short-sighted. This is the easiest one. Like, this one is like, oh, don't get hurt. Well, that accidents happen. Don't get sick. No, accidents happen. Don't get hit. Accidents happen. Do not eat rotting food. Do not eat fucking rotting ass, dirty water food. Like that's not accidents happen. That's you're choosing to put rotting food in your body. Like, that's a you problem. And I'm not going to help you with you problems. Unlucky, I still don't know what this does. Just get over and go in the B tier. You're a B tier. Unlucky is just it's a weird trait, man. It's a weird trait. Single player, who knows what it does? Multiplayer, it doesn't exist. Speedrunners, kind of just ignore it. We're scared it helps us, and we're scared it hurts us. Just like, and then let it go. Let it go. Weak stomach. Like, some of these I've not been mentioning, like, oh, speedrun or single player or multiplayer, because a lot of them are all the same. right? They're all the same. Like if you think about, like, let's take an example, weak stomach. Speedrunners always take weak stomach. Multiplayer runners always take weak stomach. Single players always take weak stomach. So it's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Pretty much all are exactly the same situations in which you'd want to use them, right? Negative traits are more interesting. If you notice, there's actually a much bigger spread because a lot of the positive traits are not very useful for like speedrunning, which is of course my main focus, right? Speaking of speedrunning, I've gotten almost every single skill world record back. Like I really got that dog in me. I really got that dog in me. Negative traits have a lot more S tier traits. It's why a lot of these traits are being reworked for build 42, is because Indie Stone is not like that. This many traits you don't even think about anymore, right? We don't even think about taking half of these. Like, I want someone to really tell me, is there anyone out there that disagrees with this S tier? Anyone? I could see arguments here. I could see lots of people making arguments about the weight and the fitness and the strength stuff because I really value strength and fitness so highly. Like illiterate in B tier, I could see a lot of arguments that are very reasonable. But no, I really want to know, is there anyone who disagrees with S tier and why? I really want to know if there's a single one of you that doesn't agree with this. Pacifist is the only one. You know, Pacifist top of A tier, okay? Because that's the only one I can see a real argument against, right? I can really see a good argument against that. The rest I can't. So I hope you enjoyed the old Pro Speedrunner does the negative traits video. Positive traits video is one of my best YouTube videos so far. I really love I really appreciate all the comments, all the support, all the love on that video. If you've been enjoying these, feel free to subscribe. Really motivates me, really helps support my YouTube. Feel free to also check me out on Twitch. I will be streaming about 4 times a week. A lot of Project Zomboid, a lot of RimWorld, a lot of speed runs. For now, I think we're going to be going. Thank you very much. Have a good one. Big love. Bye-bye.